This is a Sports Catastrophe production. Hey there, Heather Ho there. It's Jeff Cutter. Welcome to another Sports Catastrophe Birthday Boy. Finally, you'll see a birthday boy. But the birthday boy for today, for April 17th, is a Montreal Expos icon who then went to Atlanta, Cleveland, Milwaukee, LA, and San Francisco. He played baseball from 1989 to 2005. And yes, he did play for the vaunted 94 Expos that should have went to the World Series if it wasn't for the baseball strike. Anyway, his name is Marquis Grissom. Marquis Grissom, if that. He's 56 years old. He was the second youngest of 16 children. Can you believe it? Grissom actually once threw a rock and hit a police officer's Cadillac from a great distance. The officer actually impressed by the throw actually said that he wouldn't charge Grissom if later he would join the youth baseball team, which he did. So anyway, Grissom attended a high school in Georgia. Since he actually drafted him out of high school and offered a $17,000 signing bonus. But Grissom was told by his family to play college baseball. So he went to Florida A&M as a historic black college as a pitcher and outfielder. And he looked pretty good. He was a decent pitcher. Then the Expos in the third round decided to pick him 76 overall. He was a prospect as a pitcher / outfielder. However, Montreal needed an outfielder more than a pitcher, so they asked him to be a position player. And he went steadily throughout the majors. He first started in August '89 for the Expos. He would be up there as the leadoff hitter / center fielder for the Expos. And yes, Grissom is the guy who caught Chris Gwynn's fly ball for the final out of Apr17, El Perfecto, the Dennis Martinez perfect game, July 28, 1991. Anyway, he actually led the NL in stolen bases in 91 and 92. So he was basically a speed merchant, if you will. And finally got named to the All-Star team in 93 and 94. If memory serves me right, I think he had a walk-off grand slam, a walk-off inside the park home run against the Cardinals in 93 or 94. Montreal looked pretty good. Grissom was a great young prospect, and everything looked good. Unfortunately, the 94 season ended with that stupid strike, which robbed the Expos of at least a playoff spot. And, Canadian TV, like CBC would have paid lots of money to have the Expos play on all that. Montreal lost so much revenue because of that last season. Anyway, Grissom was the last of the three highest paid Expo players to be traded. The Expos traded away Ken Hill. They traded away, who else did they trade away? Well, I know Larry Walker left in free agency. I forgot who else they traded. But anyway, Grissom was traded to Atlanta for Tony Tarasco, Roberto Kelly, and Esteban Yan. I mean, Tarasco was okay for the Expos in a sense. Roberto Kelly was decent in a year with the Expos. And Esteban Yan, well, Esteban Yan would be better known for his role in Tampa. There were rumors that Florida and Boston were trying to get Grissom because the Expos were desperate to trade them because of financial things. So Atlanta in the 90s were dominant. In 91, they went to the World Series but lost that famous game 7-2 to Minnesota. 92, the Blue Jays took them out in 6 games. 93, they were heavily favored to win the NL, but they lost to the Phillies in the NLCS. And in 94, of course, the strike. So anyway, Marquis Grissom was actually born and raised in Atlanta, so it made sense he was an Atlanta Brave. And yes, he was the guy who caught the final out by ball hit by Carlos Baerga in the 1995 World Series between the Tribe and the Braves. He caught the winning ball, and it was huge. Montreal fans were upset that they would see many of their star Expos from 94 turn out to play for other teams. And, Grissom won a World Series, taking out a few Cleveland Indians like Ken Hill. Anyway, Grissom was part of the Braves team that went to the 96 World Series but lost to the Yankees in 6 games. Atlanta needed to save money committed to long-term agreements, so they decided to trade Grissom and David Justice to Cleveland receiving Kenny Lofton and Ellen Embry. And yes, the last birthday boy was David Justice. Thank you for asking. Anyhow, so Cleveland knew what to do. They went to the World Series, lost in 7. Grissom was good for Cleveland and all that. He was the ALCS MVP when they took out Baltimore 1-0 next to Tony Fernandez's 11th inning home run in Game 6. He actually had a 15-game World Series hitting streak, consecutive game hitting streak, spanning 3 World Series, which counts. The second longest all time. The only guy ahead of him, Hank Bauer of the Yankees. Yeah, I never would have guessed that. Anyway, after Lawton was signed as a free agent back to Cleveland, the Tribe traded him and Jeff Juden to Milwaukee for Ben McDonald, Ron Filone, and Mike Fetters. Ben McDonald just sucked. E-I-E-I-O. Grissom's production declined in Milwaukee and was then traded to Los Angeles for Devon White. Grissom struggled. He was a part-time player and all that. San Francisco actually wanted to land him as a free agent, which they did. So in 2003, it was part of the Giants team that won the NL West and then shockingly lost to the Marlins in the wildcard round and almost getting the wild card in 2004. Grissom is the guy who hit the first ever home run at Petco Park in San Diego. Well, he was a Giant, but still. He was released and after 2005 and he retired. He told the Atlanta Journal-Constitution that it was time for him to retire when he spent more time preparing for games than playing in the games themselves. Grissom didn't get many votes in the Hall of Fame balloting in his first attempt and subsequently dropped off the ballot. He's been a youth baseball coach. He actually worked with Michael Harris II from his youth through his early professional career. And Harris won the NL Rookie of the Year and dedicated it to Grissom. Grissom, for 1 year, was the first base coach for the Washington Nationals. He and his wife live in Georgia and have 5 children. Marquis Grissom Jr. is a pitcher in the Washington organization, being drafted by the Nats out of Georgia Tech in 2022. Grissom would buy houses for his parents and every one of his 14 siblings during his playing career. So that's nice. Marquis Grissom deserves to be a Montreal legend. He will still be a legend. I mean, he was part of the 94 Expos team that should have went to the playoffs at the very least. But, that's just bad luck. Anyway, I'm going to do.